May I have a word with you, Your Honor? My initial reaction to seeing a video on TikTok, which I find a little beyond my trauma level as an elderly person with multiple conditions that are not subject to alleviation. They've rendered me permanently disabled. It was a video of Mackenzie Shirilla being sentenced. The impression I initially got reminded me of the inconsolable disbelief that I felt when it was sprung on me that they were covertly accusing me of could have saved John Lennon. And a Nazi slander that continues to this day, but unopenly addressed covertly as part of a military society. And when obviously it was the people who did it who were accusing me. And I don't mean to say people who killed John Lennon, because I no longer believe that he was killed from the evidence. This is a long arc of storyline dating to the Nuncio's counterfeiting operations in Fayoum. The defense strategy appears to have been, in my opinion, out of love for the victims. They decided to allow the contrary indications, for example, who was really boss of the psilocybin presidency. Who was really boss of the psilocybin? For example, her loving history with these men, her age, and what were contributing issues that might have led to her impulsiveness to shine through without evoking them for fear of insulting the families of the victims was done out of love for them, out of consideration for them. In my humble opinion, it was judicial misconduct to overlook this. And at the root of this entire conglomerate of issues is the idea that liberalism is somehow synonymous with irresponsible behavior. And I would like to take a look at this from a point of view of a cinema historian. The presence in Dealey Plaza, when JFK was done in by the correctional military-industrial complex, of a Japanese man standing outside the Dallas Police Department as the death cab for Cutie came out, under a nuclear bunker, is clear indication that the swastika took revenge as though it's an international criminal court. Avenging Hiroshima as a crime against humanity, they took a president of the United States and proceeded to play the claim that liberalism was irresponsible behavior. When the suit and tie gentlemen, Bobby Kennedy I and Martin Luther King, were done in 1968 by the Beatles' White Album forces, the entire hope of liberal leadership was supplanted with the drug craze, the sex craze, the rock and roll craze, for a purpose related to the script of Gail Burston, who's still at large. When they took me into custody, I turned to the police, the principal of the school, and my family could see in plain view that something was going on, something that couldn't be stopped, that was military, that was berserk, that was Manson-like. And I was hostage. Like a person waiting to run for it, I cooperated until I could escape. I tried to buy a car to stop them from stealing cars and gave it to them. They wouldn't have that. They held me in the back seat of a car. This is about a car crash. and put me on Tuinals. And this is the code of the entire operation. Clint Eastwood comes in his retrospective conversion recon from a Dori Goto, saying it justifies her elopement with the people who tortured me. There's a pattern in that. There's a pattern in the inability to see the escape behavior of Mackenzie Shirilla and what happened. You may find it dark that I sympathize, but I do. I don't believe she meant to kill anybody. I believe she was trying, in a moment of hysteria induced with the complicity of the victims, to escape. And the bottom line is, you had every indication to give consideration to that fact.